Hi everyone, this is Deborah. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic for the men and the women. This was one of my subscribers wanted me to do this video about the detrimental effects of being sexually deprived in a marriage. Okay, so this is going to hit hard to my heart. Okay. So, I'm going to be completely honest, which I always am. Sometimes that gets me in trouble. But if you are being deprived of a sexual relationship with your husband or wife, it has detrimental effects. Let me explain. If you're used to it regularly, like I was when I was dating my ex, and then you go walk down the aisle at the church and you're married and all of a sudden it stops. Red flags you'd think would go up. Well, I got pregnant 7 days after I got married, so I was deathly sick for the first 3 months. So, but as time went on, I realized this is a serious pattern with my ex. I thought it was like once a month if I was lucky. And I got tired of begging. I begged for 40 years. I begged so much that it affected my self-esteem and my worth, okay? So it drove me to a mental hospital, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The first time was 30 days. The other couple times was like 3 or 4. But it was all because I was not getting the physical love and intimacy that everyone deserves. And let me tell you what, I watch a lot of experts and psychiatrists and marriage counselors and divorce attorneys say that the minute that is happening in your life, your marriage is pretty much over. I hate to say that. And I wasted 40 years of my life. I should have left the first week, but as I told you, I was sick. But even when I finished my first trimester, I was fine. But it was few and far between. It was so bad that I even had a calendar by my back door when I was a young mother in my 20s. I would put NS, no sex. Very rarely was there a YS for yes sex. But I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. And it made me feel like I wasn't pretty. It made me feel like I wasn't sexy. It caused so much grief in me that it destroyed me as a person. It sent me to a mental hospital for depression. Not anything else, for depression. It actually ruled my whole world. That I remember going to a junior women's club meeting and the women were saying, I can't keep my husband off of me. And that's when I realized, hey, something's wrong. Something is very wrong. So when you're not getting the sexual satisfaction, a lot of us will go outside the marriage. And let me tell you what, I'm going to hear a lot of hate about this, but sex is that important. It gives you a release of anxiety. It makes you feel new again. Now, my ex was the best I've ever had in bed, so get that out of your head. But it was once a month. Now, when we were dating, it was twice a night. You see how I went into some kind of shock. And I found out many years later why he didn't want it as much as me. I was fooled. I was tricked. Yeah, I definitely was. But the reason why I hung around for so long is, number one, because he was so good in bed when it did happen. And number 2 is because we owned a business together. And I didn't want to ruin the business that I helped start and develop. Um, but it also caused health problems. I became, I had gotten high blood pressure. My cholesterol was through the roof. It is horrible to be married to somebody and they don't want to be with you. It is just devastating. It affects everything in your life. And I used to get jealous of other women who were getting it on a regular basis, because sex to me is a gift from God. And let me tell you what, if you are now in that situation that I was in, don't waste your life. I'm always a firm believer that the marriage should be forever, regardless. But now I know that the effects of that had taken, it took my personality, it took who I was. And I knew the marriage was over when I didn't have a voice anymore. He wasn't listening. He wasn't listening. And I still, to this day, 15 years, I think my divorce was final in 2013, and I left him in 2007. I just got tired of it. I would even go talk to my friends and some of my family members. They say, "Oh, you got a good husband." Do I? Do I? No, this is why people have affairs. And I don't regret any of them, because I was punished in the worst way anybody can be punished. Because sex releases so much stress. I remember when I did get lucky, I just felt like I was in heaven. But I didn't get that very often. And I just got tired of begging. And I remember after I'd been married to him for like 35 years, I tried to sit down and talk to him. And he goes, "Oh, I didn't know it bothered you that much." Bullshit. I talked about it all the time. Now, what I should have done is left the first week of my marriage, because I was just so sick. And I didn't want to move in with my parents, even though they would have welcomed me with loving arms. The first time I was in the mental hospital, I remember my parents came and my daddy says, "You need to divorce him." And I go, "I can't. I love him." But if someone is not giving you their body, at least for 15 minutes, there's serious repercussions of this, okay? So a lot of these experts, on like Instagram and Facebook, they will tell you, especially the divorce lawyers, that the minute that starts happening, you might as well leave. Why do you want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you? Okay, so there you go. I am happier now, and I get lucky now more than I ever did in 40 years, but it's his loss. And now there is one exception: if there's medical issues. And this is where those hormone replacement therapy comes into play. There's testosterone, there's estrogen. Now, I talk a lot about estradiol for women, and that's what women need to be in the mood. Because once you hit 60 and 70, you don't have those wonderful, sexy hormones. So this is why I highly advocate you guys going to your gynecologist or your urologist and get tested, okay? Because once I started on estradiol, I mean, I'm in the mood all the time. So, but that is the only exception, is if there's medical issues. But there is treatment out there for those of you who need it. So this is my video from one of my subscribers. He wanted me to do this. I'm assuming like he was male, I'm not sure, but he wanted me to give it from my perspective. It is the most hurtful thing a human can do. Okay, bye.